Ghostbusters, we're back!
And welcome back to our segment 2 of the Whitfield analysis. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, broadcasting live from NGC1, and I want to thank you for joining us for the show's second segment, or second half, rather. Again, as we announced at the beginning of the show, you can download the brand new Sam Whitfield iPhone app from the App Store, which will allow you to stream the podcast archive anytime you want and read and receive articles from my blog anytime you want. Also, you can support the show on Patreon.com by going to patreon.com/Sam Whitfield. Okay, folks, so in the last part of the podcast, we talked about the ridiculousness of the Super Bowl halftime show and how I feel that the Super Bowl halftime show itself has really declined in terms of quality. It's become a mediocre show as opposed to the great, really, concert performance that it really was, up until about 4 years ago. Now I want to shift to Super Bowl commercials because, honestly, I feel like the Super Bowl commercials themselves really have gotten mediocre over the years, to the point where my dad and I were talking after the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen, and he said, and I agree with him on some of this, that really there is no reason for the Super Bowl to even have commercials at this point. They're really just not even that good in terms of quality anymore. And one of the reasons why I think this is, ladies and gentlemen, is a lot of these commercials that quote unquote air during the Super Bowl, some of them you can see a week before they air on, websites like YouTube or Facebook. In fact, about 3 days before the Super Bowl, I actually saw the Bud Light commercial with Seth Rogen and Amy Meyer and I keep wanting to call her Amy Myers, even though I know that's not her name. But the really feminist chick that is getting lots of popularity right now. I can't remember her name, but anyway, the Bud Light commercial, I saw that 3 days before the Super Bowl aired, and so really it wasn't that much of a surprise to me. Same thing with the Heinz ketchup wiener dog commercial, which I actually did like. I thought that commercial was good, but overall, folks, the fact that we're seeing all these commercials literally a week before the Super Bowl airs kind of ruins them all for me. You know, I remember, like I said, going back to when I was younger, as a kid, you know, watching the Super Bowl and, you know, watching in anticipation and wondering what all these commercials are. And for what it's worth, folks, I understand them putting I understand if companies want to put up commercials after the Super Bowl, that's completely fine. If you want to put your commercials up after the Super Bowl, I completely understand that. But this whole thing of pre-releasing the commercials onto YouTube before the Super Bowl, I just really don't understand it. To me, it's kind of like opening up, you know, to me, it's like opening up presents before Christmas Day. You know, yeah, you may be happy with what you get on Christmas Day still, but it's going to kind of ruin it for you since you already know what you're getting. Okay? So that's one part that I really don't understand about the Super Bowl ads these days. It just, they don't make a whole lot of sense in that department. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, is the commercials that do appear seem to be really mediocre. None of them are just really that memorable anymore. I think the only ones that really kind of stood out to me this year is the Doritos commercial, which we'll talk about the Doritos commercial in a sec. The Snickers commercial, which we'll also talk about in a sec, and the baby monkey pug thing, that commercial. I don't even know what they were advertising in that campaign right there, and that's really bad. I understand when you're trying to, you know, advertise something and you tie in your product into the commercial and, you know, try and be clever. I understand that. That's good advertising. Whatever the baby monkey pug commercial was for, I think it was like for 7-Up or Mountain Dew or one of those companies, but the fact that I can't remember, folks, is a really bad marketing sign, because I have no idea what the commercial was advertising. Now, granted, at that point during the Super Bowl game, I had also, at that point, I had already drank 3 beers, and I was in the middle of slowly sipping on a margarita too. So I wasn't drunk, but granted, I may have had a little bit of a Super Bowl buzz on. But even so, do you know how many people get absolutely shit-faced during the Super Bowl? A ton of people do, and so the fact, and I even asked my mom, you know, who hadn't had anything, what that commercial was at, and she had no idea. So, I mean, just the sense that a lot of those commercials were unmemorable is really a bad sign for the, as far as Super Bowl ads go. Now, I did not hear about this until after the Super Bowl, until the Monday after the Super Bowl. And, folks, I have a rule about the Super Bowl and about football games, which is that I don't check Twitter. I don't check my Twitter account when I'm watching football. And you'll understand why in a moment. Because I guess during the Super Bowl commercial, as soon as the Doritos commercial ended, NARAL, which is, I believe, is like the National Association for Abortion Rights, they tweeted out about how sexist the Doritos campaign was, because apparently, remember, folks, that's the one about how the fetus. Remember, the dad's eating the Doritos, and the mom's there, and she tells the dad to put the Doritos away, but as soon as he does, she actually ends up giving birth on the table because, hey, baby likes Doritos, right? And the National Association for Abortion Rights, or NARL, I guess is how you pronounce it, NARL or gnarly, as I just call them gnarly just because NARL is such a, it's a bit of a tongue twister for me. So gnarly sent out the tweet, and I don't have it in front of me exactly, but it's basically, how dare they show a fetus? How dare they humanize a fetus? I mean, they were outraged, and they were offended by the commercial idea, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why I don't pay attention to Twitter during the Super Bowl, is because there's always going to be some moron out there who just decides that for whatever reason they need to ruin everybody's fun. The left has become the fun police, ladies and gentlemen. You've noticed, if you haven't noticed yet, these social justice warriors and these feminists like Gnarl, they can't let anything go. So the Doritos advertisement was really, really huge, and I didn't hear about that until I read on Red Millennial the following Monday about it, the day after. They wrote a big spread about it. The part of the article that the part of the story that no one mentioned, and I didn't find this out until like Tuesday or Wednesday, Nara had also sent out a tweet about the Snickers commercial during the Super Bowl. If you remember, Snickers did an ad this year that I also thought was quite clever, where they did their traditional "you're not yourself when you're hungry." They did that commercial where William Dafoe was dressed up as Marilyn Manson, and or not Marilyn Manson, excuse me, Marilyn Monroe, and they were shooting the subway scene, and William Dafoe gets angry, and so the producer gives him a Snickers bar, and William Dafoe turns back into Marilyn Monroe. And Gnarl, for some reason, found offense in this because first of all, feminists have this weird obsession with Marilyn Monroe. I don't understand what the obsession is, but Marilyn Monroe was a sex icon. Ladies and gentlemen, I really like some of Marilyn Monroe's movies, and there's no doubt in my mind that she, is an icon. But nevertheless, she was a glorified, sex object for a lot of people. And so the fact that the feminist movement, kind of worships her when she's kind of the antithesis of everything feminism stands for is really quite amusing. But they also tweeted insults about how dare Snickers insult Marilyn Monroe that way. And it was absolutely absurd, ladies and gentlemen. And we have gotten to a point now in our society where political correctness and just the rapid spread of feminism and social justice has become so ridiculous that it's now permeating the Super Bowl. It's absurd. It's absurd that people are making political commentary out of that. You know, and it's in a way it is also kind of amusing because for years and years and years I was always criticized in high school. Oh, well, you right-wing bloggers and you right-wing podcasters, you make everything in the world political, and you know nothing is never unpolitical with you guys, and you make everything about politics, and I wish you right-wingers would stop that. Yet, in this instance, see folks, I never make non-political things political. Like, the Super Bowl should not be politicized. Yet, in this instance, ironically, the left has politicized all the Super Bowl ads out there, and they've made a big, huge deal out of all of this. And it's just, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, to me, it's absolutely absurd. It is. I won't deny it. See, it's ironic. The left makes everything political, even in pop culture, yet accuses the right wing of doing so, and the right wing, who doesn't make pop cultural things political very often, they always get accused of doing so. And worse yet, most conservatives, unfortunately, don't stand up for themselves when it comes to this, which is really unfortunate, and it's something we need to change. But that's another podcast for another time, my friends. Alright, so this segment isn't going to be that much longer because I do want to wrap up tonight's show. It's almost 9 o'clock. But before we end the program tonight, I do want to play, speaking of social justice warriors, folks, if you thought social justice was insane during the Ferguson riots and whatnot, and how if you thought social justice warriors were annoying now, wait until you see what they've done recently. Social justice warriors are now clamoring for your smartphone to be protected from your user. Because guess what, folks? Apparently, men are being sexist and acting sexist towards their smartphones. This is not even a joke. This is real. It's absolutely ridiculous. I have a clip here from a YouTube channel that I subscribe to. This guy's name on YouTube, it's obviously an alias, but there's this guy out there by the name of Undoomed, and Undoomed basically like debunks all this social justice warrior bull crap and analyzes this stuff thoroughly and debunks it. This week he stumbled across an article about how social justice warriors want to change the Siri function or the personal assistant function on your smartphone to make it more gender neutral and politically correct. I am not even making this up. This is an actual real thing. So without further ado, I'm going to let Undoomed talk to you about this topic. Fair warning, folks, there is a little bit of profanity in this clip, but it's real worth playing, and then I'll be back to analyze this topic. So this is Undoomed on Social Justice Warriors and your smartphones. Cut number 1, go.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. Alright, the day has finally come. You knew it was coming, didn't you? Feminists and social justice warriors are banding together to save Siri and Cortana from abusive language. Can you fucking believe this shit? And you don't even have to take my word for it. This was reported on CNN.com, for Christ's sake. I will of course leave a link in the description. I mean, seriously, is there no end to the level of absurdity that these snowflakes will go to? Alright, special snowflake CNN, let's see what you got. Enjoy! Even virtual assistants are sexually harassed. All virtual assistants have to deal with inappropriate comments and questions. From seasoned vets like Siri and Google Now, to the rash of new specialists with names like Amy, Molly, and Robin. I mean, you cannot make this shit up. If this wasn't endorsed by a Microsoft executive and it was on CNN, I would have believed it was a massive 4chan scam. When Microsoft launched Cortana in 2014, a good chunk of early queries were about her sex life, according to Microsoft's Deborah Harrison. Deborah Harrison? Why do I think of 80s pop when I think of that? I mean, why are they surprised about this? The first thing I did when I got my first speech synthesizer was to teach it how to say "you dick." It turns out people feel very comfortable talking freely with text and voice assistants. Humanizing the bots with names, faked emotions, personalities, and genders, mostly female, helps build trust with users. And there's the rub, right? Computerized assistants are being gendered as female. We need equality for personal assistants. Hey morons, you know that's just a setting, right? A side effect of creating friendly female personalities is that people want to talk dirty, confess their love, roleplay, and bombard them with insults. So the fuck what? It's a fucking computer program. Cortana is not about to put up with it. Who's humanizing who here? Like I said, Cortana's just a fucking program. It's you social justice warriors who aren't about to put up with it. Isn't it? If you say things that are particularly assholish to Cortana, she will get mad, said Harrison during a talk at Rework Virtual Assistant Summit in San Francisco last week. That's not the kind of interaction we want to encourage. I don't know which part is scarier. The fact that social justice warriors want to control how you talk to your computer, or that Microsoft is analyzing what you're saying to your personal assistant with this much detail. Harrison is one of 8 writers who create Cortana's dialogue in the U.S. In addition to writing jokes and coming up with casual banter, her team has to figure out the best way to shut down vulgar conversations. Yes, shutting down conversations. What a nice slogan for a media and software company. And who the fuck wants to have casual banter with their digital assistant? These people aren't to be scorned, they are to be pitied. Cortana is clearly identified as a woman. She has a female avatar and is voiced by human woman Jen Taylor. But the writers are conscious about avoiding female assistant stereotypes. Cortana isn't self-deprecating and avoids saying sorry. So she's basically a bitch. Great, that's exactly what I don't want from a digital personal assistant. We wanted to be very careful that she didn't feel subservient in any way, or that we would set up a dynamic we didn't want to perpetuate socially, says Harrison. But she is subservient, you fucking morons! It's a computer program designed to help me do whatever the fuck I want. Not all assistants take this same firm approach. Robin Labs, which makes a voice assistant for drivers, thinks there might be a market for customizing personalities. CEO Ilya Eckstein says there is a high demand for an assistant personality that is more intimate/submissive with sexual undertones. Wait, what? Sexual undertones from your car? Okay, everyone in this article seems to be morons. Robin has held more than 100 million conversations. Looking through the data, Eckstein found people fall into a few basic categories. Some like lots of friendly banter, others just want the facts with no sass. Apparently one group is quite fond of making Robin repeat profanities in her soft female voice. Again, so what? Who cares? It's a fucking computer. It doesn't have feelings to get hurt. Sometimes people flirt, not realizing the assistants are just programs. I think most people realize that they are programs. The question is, do you? Sometimes, as with Facebook's new M-Messenger tool, there's a real human doing some of the work. And though she's cheerful and friendly, XAI's meeting schedule robot Amy always keeps it professional. That hasn't stopped people from sending her flowers, chocolates, and whiskey. One user even asked her out on a date. Amy declined. Yeah, there's always going to be a couple of morons. What the fuck do you expect? That's just the way it is. That does not mean we have to police how people talk to their fucking computer in the privacy of their home. One smart way to learn how to handle harassment is to talk to real assistants, which Microsoft did for Cortana. After all, they've been putting up with similar behavior for years. Yes, but those are fucking human beings, where the words putting up with actually have some meaning. Anyway, that's the end of this idiotic article, but...
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so you heard what's going on, and believe me, folks, when I first heard of this from Undoomed, I just had to laugh, because honestly, folks, it is kind of pathetic. I mean, I'll admit, folks, when I got my first iPhone, I think I was like one of the first people to get the iPhone with Siri. I think that came out on like the iPhone 5, wasn't it? Like, I remember in high school, like my friends and I, when we got iPhones with Siri, being a bunch of teenage guys, we would always ask, we would always ask ridiculous things like, "Hey Siri, can you give me a blowjob?" Or "Hey Siri, do you want to make out?" Stuff like that. I feel like a lot of these things that these social justice warriors are upset about in regards to Siri. I bet 90% of these quote-unquote lewd comments are probably from teenage boys just looking to have a little fun with their smartphones. That's what I would surmise. B, though, as Undoomed said, so what? It's a computer. And the fact that these social justice warriors out there are so concerned with the fact that these computers are getting quote-unquote bullied, and that these personal assistants on your phone are getting bullied, it's just, that's awful. And to make things even worse, Microsoft seems to actually be buying this crap too. I mean, it's just the absurdity of this is just, I don't even know really what to say. It's just so damn ridiculous. And that's another reason why I will never get a phone from Microsoft or an Android phone, is because their personal assistants are now being affected by this politically correct BS. At least with Apple and at least with Siri, I don't have to worry about that, crap. So, anyway, folks, it's just, there's so much absurdity in the world, and it really is, honestly, quite ridiculous. But anyway, folks, so that concludes our broadcast tonight. We had a very good show tonight. Folks, I don't think I'll be back tomorrow to do the show, because I am meeting up with my dad tomorrow. He is in Florida right now, and we are planning on going out for dinner tomorrow, so I won't have an episode tomorrow night, but I am thinking I'll have the second episode of the weekend available for you guys on Sunday, so feel free to tune in for that. I'll have more details up. Again, folks, you can download the Sam Whitfield app off of the iTunes store anytime to listen to the show archives and read my blog. And don't forget, folks, you can support me on Patreon for as little as $2. Just go to patreon.com/Whitfield and contribute there. Again, folks, I want to thank you so much for listening, and until next time, good night, God bless, and God save this great nation.